Okay, so this term, Zach and I did two separate personal projects, but both regarding fashion. We were in the same mentor group, and our lovely mentor, Sophie, named our group Fashion Sense.
To begin our project, our projects, we had to define our vision. So I did this before term. I knew that I wanted to do a fashion project and I wanted to create some pieces. So I planned out the design style of what I wanted to create, which is in line with traditional Vietnamese clothing and modern fashion culture, as you can see in my driving question.
So for my vision, all I knew at the beginning of this term was that I wanted to complete an online fashion course about fashion business. So I got accepted into one by Parsons New School, and I came to Sophie with my idea, and she helped push me to work to make it a place-based project, incorporate Eastern styles, Vietnamese styles, and I wanted to make a case study about Vietnamese fashion business in comparison to the Western fashion business.
Throughout the course of our project, we were lucky enough to go on several excursions, the first of which was to Kilomet 109, which for me was my favorite TGS experience to date. Basically, Kilomet is a Hanoi-based business run by Tao and her husband. We were lucky enough, a group of us, including me and Nora, were taken by Sophie to interview Tao's husband. We got an hour there and we got to learn all about how they create clothing from scratch. They grow their own cotton, they grow their own dyes from like rocks, tree bark, everything. It's an incredible thing, and it was a really great experience.
One of our other excursions we went to together was a place called Chula Fashion, and Zach and I had no idea what we were walking into when we went to Chula. It's an appointment-only fashion store. I messaged this woman on WhatsApp and we showed up. So it was this brightly colored thing. There was a lot going on. We were led to this back room, given a lot of tea. But eventually the owner came. Her name's Laura. She's from Madrid. And she essentially told us she started this business when she came to Hanoi with her late husband. And they fell in love with the city and they wanted to incorporate both Spanish styles with Vietnamese styles. Which is essentially what I want to do for my project. But Chula is so unique because 75% of their staff have a physical disability, and their workshop is situated directly above their storefront. And you're welcome to go and look around. We got a tour of the whole space. And because of that, there's a lot of transparency and ethicality in the way they do things, which is very unique to the fashion industry as a whole.
Some of the other excursions that we went on were firstly, my multiple trips per week to Hoa Fashion House, which is where I got my clothes manufactured. I was taking grabs there so much. I have so many group chats in Teams from the duty staff now. It's so annoying. But yeah, as well as some other experiences.
So part of our process was having a bunch of meetings with Sophie. And also other people who are interested in fashion. We have Aryan and Kaya and Haruka and some other people.
Yeah, that's good. For my summative, there were 3 things that I want to achieve, and I still haven't finished it yet, but by this term, hopefully. Firstly, a portfolio of my design process. This includes all my original sketches, my planning, everything that went into this project to incorporate it into a design portfolio. The second component are the 3 completed pieces, which I did not bring today because I was in a rush. And lastly, a modeled photo shoot.
So my summative was both a certificate for completing Parsons Fascist Business Essentials course and also a research paper, a comparative research paper, which I'm still working on. But essentially, I came to the conclusion that the Western business has a more defined structure, and there's more options for people who want to get into the fashion world. That's why, places like Paris and Milan are known as fashion capitals. However, here in Vietnam and some other countries in East Asia have a lot more of an ethical and more sense on the environmentalism of what they're doing.
My key takeaway from this whole project was really just a shift in my perception. I had a very different idea coming into this project. I thought it was going to be, work, but it wasn't going to be super difficult. It was very, very hard. I struggled a lot. My designs now, in hindsight, look terrible. But I learned so much. I got so much about like the skills that I built in sketching, measurements, communication with the fashion house, everything. I learned so much from this project. It was such a great experience.
And for me, my key takeaway was just the sheer amount of choices that are involved in the fashion industry. People, when you start a brand, you have the choice to show your process of the production. You can be transparent. You can make it more cost effective and not be transparent. And there's just a bunch of things you can do along the way. And for me personally, one of the biggest takeaways was it really affirmed that this is what I want to study in the future, and that's my choice that I want to make.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.